Hello, my name is Allison Carmen, and welcome to episode 8 of my podcast, 10 Minutes to Less Suffering. I took some time off from this podcast to finish my second book, but now I'm back, and I'm really looking forward to releasing more podcasts for the rest of the year. I want to thank all of you for the wonderful emails and comments supporting this podcast, and I think many of you are starting to realize that it is possible to feel better in less than 10 minutes. We often don't realize that we have the ability to switch how we think or feel, or gain a new perspective in a short period of time. Sometimes it's just one word or one sentence or one thought that changes everything. Two of the big reasons we suffer every day is because of our fear of the unknown, which I've talked about in prior podcasts. And the second reason is that many of us do not feel okay about ourselves. And this is what I would like to discuss today. Not feeling whole or okay about ourselves is a big issue for many people. When we don't feel okay about ourselves, everything that happens in the outside world defines how we feel about ourselves in our inside world. The minute we are rejected, or we don't get that job, or we don't have enough money, instead of seeing it as an experience we are having, we start to believe that it defines who we are, and there's something wrong with us. An outside experience can make us believe we are too ugly or we're too old to be loved. We are not smart enough or capable enough to achieve our goals. Or we might focus that other people have more than us or are more valuable than we are, and it all makes us feel less inside. Not only is this an extremely painful way to live, it causes us to compromise ourselves and often not achieve most of the things we want in our lives. So how can we change this? How can we alleviate this pain of feeling not valuable and stay on our path to achieve the things we want in life? The best thing any of us can do is to find a way that we act from our wholeness. We have to find a way that we're able to see what happens to us in life as an experience outside of how we value ourselves. We can like the experience, hate the experience, want to change the experience, but the experience does not change the fact that we have a right to be here, to voice our opinion, and to love ourselves. It's hard to start seeing ourselves differently than we have for most of our lives. So of course I started changing how I see myself with a maybe statement. The idea of maybe is gentle and not demanding, and merely gives us another possibility other than the one that is causing us pain. I started to say to myself every day, maybe there's nothing wrong with me. It might sound like a silly little statement that's so light, but the minute you question the ultimate doubt that we have about ourselves, it gives us the ability to reflect on our own worth. It makes us contemplate the possibility that there's nothing wrong with us. And with that possibility, we feel some of our wholeness. As we start to experience it again and again, we start to choose the possibility that there's nothing wrong with us more often. And the reason we do this is because it feels good and we suffer less. We start to see how we could create stability in our inner world, and that gives us strength to handle the outside world. Surprisingly, one of the first times I put this into practice, I was in a room negotiating with 8 men for one of my clients. There was a mix of attorneys and businessmen in the room. I had no idea there would be so many people representing the other side on the transaction. It was not a litigation where people were threatening each other, but it was contentious at times. I must have said to myself, maybe there's nothing wrong with me at least once every 5 minutes. Of course I said it to myself, as I was negotiating how much severance my client would get if the other side breached his employment agreement. But it stopped me from slipping and doubting myself. It stopped me from caring how everyone in the room was seeing me. I never doubted my value, so I was totally present for my client. I am not kidding you that by the end of the transaction, one of the lawyers said to me that if I ever wanted to join a firm, they would hire me. I obviously never took the job, but my client did benefit from those large severance payments many years later. Other thoughts that have helped me over the years to find my wholeness includes the thought, I am made up of all the same matter or energy that is in the world. I am made up of the same energy and matter that creates the stars, the trees, the grass. What could be wrong with me? The person next to me is made up of the same matter. What can be different between the two of us? Sometimes I think of myself as the universe manifesting, or nature manifesting, or love manifesting. All of these things remind me of my divine right to be here. Think about it. How would you feel if the minute life does not go your way, or you feel hurt, or you have a disagreement with someone, you believe that there was nothing wrong with you. Again, it doesn't mean you said the right thing. It doesn't mean you acted correctly, or you should not do better next time. But regardless of what happens, you still value yourself. You don't go down the rabbit hole of thinking you're dumb, or not capable, or that no one loves you. Imagine if you were able to see what happened to you as an event outside of you. If you're able to do this, you're going to know what to say next in any situation, and you're going to know what to do next. Just like I did during those negotiations, you're going to be more solid on your path. Sometimes it takes a while to get this, and you might feel like you compromised yourself throughout the day or you didn't speak your mind. But at least at the end of the day, you'll go home and ask yourself this very important question. Maybe there's nothing wrong with me. And if there's nothing wrong with me, how do I feel about the situation that happened today? It sounds simple, but it really works. It helps you get back to your center and view your day differently. It helps you let go of the pain that you felt during the day when you didn't value yourself. It allows you to reset and look at parts of the day when you started to feel bad about yourself or you didn't value yourself. And as you go back to center, you start to build a more solid ground. You start to build a place that the next time you're more likely to hold your value and hold your worth and align closer to your authentic self. Some people like to write this question down and journal the answers. If you don't like using the maybe statements, you could also find another way that makes you feel whole. You could try thinking of yourself as being made up of the same matter as the stars, or being made up of all the beautiful things in the world. Maybe you want to connect with nature, the universe, love, and believe you're the manifestation of all the beauty that exists. However you get there, these types of thoughts give you an opening to realize that you're standing on the same level as everybody else. It helps you to start realize that nothing could be wrong with you. Nothing has ever been wrong with you, and nothing will ever be wrong with you. This way of thinking really changes your daily narrative. You start to see that it's your choice how you see your experiences. If we make a mistake, then we made a mistake. But we're still just as valuable as we were yesterday. Could we feel bad about it? Absolutely. Should we look at what we need to do differently? Sure. And it's also possible that we need to take more responsibility for our action. But it doesn't make us feel less valuable. We just realize we made a mistake and we try to do better next time. This idea has really changed my life. It has allowed me to go into practically any situation and feel whole even if I make a mistake, even if I say the wrong thing. I don't spin out of control and I can stick my ground. If I have to apologize for something I did, I apologize. If I have to correct something I did, I correct it. But it doesn't make me less of a person. It doesn't make me less smart, uglier, or less lovable. It's just an experience I am having. And the more I know there's nothing wrong with me, the more my authentic self comes out. And the more I'm willing to speak up, the more I'm willing to say how I feel, my voice can be heard. It's interesting that the more valuable you see yourself, you could still have conflicts and problems, but the more successful you will become, whatever success means to you. Because you're going to go out into the world with your real beliefs, your real intentions, with the strength and resilience to stay on your path. You will stay clear on where you want to go, and that is what it's really about. To be clear, it's okay if you want to change something about yourself. If you're not happy about your weight, you have every right to want to lose weight, but it doesn't change how valuable you are. You have a right to change your job. You have a right to have whatever experience you want to have, but there's a difference if you see the experience on the outside and not on the inside. We're here, we are in our bodies, and we're going to have experiences. And we have a right to have preferences, to be happy, to be fulfilled, to have meaning. But if we know we are okay all the time, and we are not thinking less of ourselves, it's going to be very different. You will start to experience life with a deep respect, trust, and value for your essence, for your truth, and you will be able to share it with the world. So thank you for joining me today. If you're interested in learning more about me, you can go to my website at AllisonCarmen.com. Of course, you can always read my book, The Gift of Maybe, which is available at all major bookstores as well as on Amazon and other online retailers. I hope you give this idea a try because maybe there's nothing wrong with you. What a beautiful thought to know that you have been born with this wholeness, that you were born with the ability to create meaning in your life, and you are born with the ability to achieve the goals that you want and to find a life that's going to make you happy.